And I mean, the theme for Success Becomes Me this year is we work smart for the money, because the truth is that too many female entrepreneurs we're already overworking. We're already working hard. And so for us to work harder is not going to be the thing that gets us to our goals. So it's like, how do we work smarter?
Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. All the time we hear we need to have multiple revenue streams. You need to have passive income. Honestly, passive income is anything but that. I feel it is some of the hardest income you're going to work for. But if you really want to have multiple ways to grow your business, there has to be something else. And so I was actually talking with my good friend, Bree Seeley, about having multiple revenue streams because she has been changing the game with her business. Last year, I spoke at her Success Becomes Me conference. Incredible event. If you've never been to Tulsa, you should go to Tulsa to go to this event. But if you live in the Tulsa area and you're a female entrepreneur, you need to be at this event. I was talking with Bree about all of the things that she's doing. And I'm like, man, how are you doing all of these different avenues? Can you come and talk to me and my audience about it? So she said, of course, because she's amazing like that. So today's guest is Bree Seeley. She's a TEDx speaker. She is seen everywhere. She's absolutely changing the game for female entrepreneurs. And like I said, you have the Success Becomes Me conference. You have your podcast. You're literally doing all the things. Thank you so much for joining us on Rocky Mountain Marketing once again.
Thanks for having me. I adore you and I love what you do in the world. And so partnering up with you anytime, it's an easy, obvious yes.
Well, Angie spoke at the Social Profit Lab conference last year. And man, your session was absolutely incredible. I feel like I should try and do something with all these sessions that people did because they're brilliant. Maybe it'd be like another revenue stream or something. But, Bree, we were talking about this before the episode here with all of the things that you're doing. And you launched a mastermind and you said, Katie, if I was looking at what I was doing and if I wanted to scale my business with what my current revenue streams were, I was going to have like 6 different masterminds and launch a new one every month. And that's not the best way to grow my business. And it's a common struggle that a lot of entrepreneurs have. And you were even sharing that some people in your mastermind were saying, oh, I want to hit 7 figures, but right now I'm at 4. And it's great to have the goals, but how are you going to get to that next figure? How are you going to scale your business the way you want to? And it's by having these multiple revenue streams. So let's dive in there with your mastermind, actually, because this is something that you launched and it was, you said you had 75 applicants, which is incredible for launching a mastermind, and you have 75 people that want to join it. And it still was not the best way for you to scale your business. So let's start our conversation there.
Yeah. So I want to start by saying that 2023, I went to a meditation retreat in April, and I came back to Tulsa knowing that I had to blow up every single revenue stream that I had. And so by the fall of 2023, I ended both of my revenue streams that were like the money makers that I'd been running one of them for 7 years. And I was like, this isn't it. I need some new revenue streams. I need to try something new. And so that's when I launched the mastermind, and I launched it I had my first round of people start enrolling in November and December, and we started in January. It was my first 6-figure launch in 9 years of business. And it was easy and I loved it. And I love the women in it, and they're killing it. And they're like making incredible strides in their business. One woman did her entire annual revenue in the first 90 days. One of the women tripled her monthly revenue month 2 and has done it every single month there since. In fact, that woman has actually re-enrolled to rejoin the Foundry because she wants to do it again. Like, just incredible results. And so launched that. And then I didn't do a single sale in my business from January until May 1st. And I was working with a coach at the time, and I was like, what's going on? Why am I not making sales? And she was like, our container was coming to an end. And she's like, you need to re-up with me. And I had this epiphany where I was like, I literally don't have the infrastructure to hit the goals that I want to hit in my business. Because if I want to have a 7-figure business, that means that I would have to launch, I've done the math, it's $84,000 a month. I would have to launch a mastermind every single month. So month 1, it wouldn't be bad. I'd only have 1 mastermind running. Month 2, then I'd have 2 masterminds running. Month 3, I'd have 3 masterminds running. And then at some point, I'd have 6 masterminds concurrently running, not to mention having launches going almost constantly, having it's just too much. And so I sat back and was like, literally, there is not a pathway right now for me to reach my goals. And so just like you would forage in a forest, if there's not a pathway, you got to carve one. And so, when you and I were catching up and I was like, yeah, my goal before the end of the year is to launch 10 new revenue streams. And you're like, what are you doing? And do you ever sleep? Right? Is like, I'm like, I have got to have all these different revenue streams in order for me to hit my goals in my business. Like, it just is what it is. I'm launching a new podcast in August. I'm launching, I think, 2 or 3 new revenue streams along with it. With my nonprofit, I'm launching some new revenue streams that go hand in hand with my for-profit. I'm launching another 6-week group program in September to help people get some small wins, and then relaunching the mastermind again at the end of the year. But I just really had to have a come to Jesus moment where I was like, literally the scaffolding I have in my business cannot support the financial goals that I have. And with those applications you mentioned as well, I will say the majority of them were not even qualified to join the mastermind. Because say you wake up today and you're like, I want to make $1 million by the end of the year, but I literally haven't made a single penny yet this year. Katie and I just did the math. That's $166,666.67 a month for the rest of the year. And my question is, if I've been in the game for 9 years and I don't have the infrastructure to do $84,000 a month right now, and you're at 0, and you're trying to get to $166,000 a month, right? Like, there's some missing infrastructure in that honestly, I can't help you create in under 6 months that needs to be put in place for the revenue to start coming in for you to it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the theme for Success Becomes Me this year is we work smart for the money, because the truth is that too many female entrepreneurs we're already overworking. We're already working hard. And so for us to work harder is not going to be the thing that gets us to our goals. So it's like, how do we work smarter? How do we double down? If you've read 10X is easier than 2X, how do we double down on the 20% of things that are working and let go of the 80% of things that are time sucks, money sucks, energy sucks, so that we can hone in on the actual stuff that's generating momentum in our businesses, and just give ourselves permission to let go of all the other stuff. Because like you said, bringing on more clients then also means now you have increased expenses and increased bottom line. And maybe your people don't want to work for you more than you're already working. And then you have another person that you have to bring on. And then you have to think about potential turnover and what it's going to take to train them. And there's so many things that come with just doing more of what you've been doing versus sitting down and really strategically thinking what's going to be the most effective pathway to the goal that I have.
And I think that it's great, Bree, because getting to that next step, that next level in your business, it's great to have goals. Getting to that next figure, getting to the 7-figure mark if you're at 6, or getting to the 8-figure mark if you're at 7, whatever it is. It's great to have goals, but more clients is not always going to be the way that you get to those goals. For me, it's me, and I have a team of 8, and if I bring on more clients, if we're at capacity right now, I have to bring on more team members. So again, it's not really necessarily getting more clients that's going to help me reach those goals. It's having these other revenue streams that can help support what we're currently doing, whether it is through coaching or a mastermind. a paid podcast, having a book, where you get the money in from the book, having these other ways to bring revenue into your company so that you aren't having to, again, like for me, for the listeners that have a team, I think a lot of times we just automatically think about scaling is getting more clients. And that's not always the case.
Yeah. And I mean, the theme for Success Becomes Me this year is we work smart for the money. Because the truth is that too many female entrepreneurs we're already overworking. We're already working hard. And so for us to work harder is not going to be the thing that gets us to our goals. So it's like, how do we work smarter? How do we double down? If you've read 10X is easier than 2X, how do we double down on the 20% of things that are working and let go of the 80% of things that are time sucks, money sucks, energy sucks?
Yeah.
So that we can like hone in on the actual stuff that's generating momentum in our businesses and just give ourselves permission to let go of all the other stuff. Because like you said, bringing on more clients then also means now you have increased expenses and increased bottom line. And maybe your people don't want to work for you more than you're already working. And then you have another person that you have to bring on. And then you have to think about potential turnover and what it's going to take to train them. Like there's so many things that come with just doing more of what you've been doing versus sitting down and really strategically thinking what's going to be the most effective pathway to the goal that I have.
I love that. Let's just talk about some of those milestones that you helped people in your mastermind. Let's talk about some of those celebrations, milestones that you were able to help some of the people in your mastermind achieve, hitting their entire previous year revenue goal after 90 days of working together. That is huge. And regardless if your revenue from last year was $15,000 or $150,000, hitting that within 90 days is something to celebrate. And it's sometimes just having someone look at it a little bit differently or adding in another revenue stream that is no brainer. Man, why didn't I do this sooner? So let's talk about how you were able to help some of those people in your mastermind and what some of the aha moments are that you see is one of the most common aha moments.
Yeah, well, so for that woman in particular, the thing that I think is really interesting is she's actually doing less now than she was doing before, which everyone thinks like, oh, if I want to make more money, I have to do more. It's like, no, you just have to do what works and get rid of the rest. And so we restructured her YouTube channel. We went through and restructured her pricing. She was offering a bunch of things for free that I was like, that needs to not be a free thing. That needs to be a paid thing. She went through and kind of restructured.
Well, but hold on. Let's talk about that. A free thing versus a paid thing. I mean, I think that so many people are like, well, wait a second. I thought that we were supposed to provide value. We're supposed to give value. So let's talk about what maybe some of the free things that we're doing that should be paid. And now for a quick break. You've heard me mention some of my favorite tools on Rocky Mountain Marketing in the past, and today I want to talk to you about Podmatch. Podmatch is the tool that you need if you're looking for more shows to guest on to elevate your brand authority, or if you're a podcast host yourself and you've been looking for the perfect guest, Podmatch is your solution. Podmatch matches guests and hosts through their system, and I've had a tremendous luck with them over the past 5 years. Check out Podmatch at joinpodmatch.com/Katie. All right, let's get back to the show.
Yep. So her in particular, and she does have free things. Yeah. She has a free opt-in that provides a ton of value. I've done it. She has a YouTube channel that provides a ton of value. I'm subscribed to it, right? So she has the free stuff. What was happening was people were going through a paid educational container with her. And then she had a practice container for people after that. And that was just free. She was just showing up and helping people practice the craft that she was helping them hone for free. And I was like, no. If you're taking them from, say this, I think it's a 10-week container into offering them a year's worth of practice opportunities for free, that's not. And the way I recommend people pricing is an equal exchange of value. I'm like, that's not an equal exchange of value. If people want to practice for free, then they need to reach out to the co-students that were in the program with them and practice with them. Practicing with you is going to heighten their abilities even more and give them even more education, even though you're not, quote unquote, teaching them, right? So we restructured the payments for the 10-week, and then we turned the practice stuff into a year-long membership. Because it did not make sense for her to be offering a year's worth of services for free, even though she'd been doing it up until that point. So that was something that was really important, I thought. And then one of the things she'd been doing was she was offering free meditations on her YouTube channel every week. And I was like, well, let's sit down and look at, one, what's the point of that? How is doing that leading you into getting people into your educational programs? Answer, it's not. So are you willing to keep pouring energy and effort into that, knowing that it's not actually feeding your goals? She was also doing some sound bath stuff in the town in which she lives. And she had a major aha where she's like, that is actually taking my energy away from my goals. And so I have got to stop doing it, right? So it's really important to sit down and kind of do this process. What are all the things that I'm doing in my business right now, both marketing wise, revenue stream wise, lead generation wise, like all these things, and like what's working and what's not working. Because too many of us pour way too much time and energy into doing too many things that are not working. So it's just an important process to be sifting through. I talk about it. I actually have a free resource that I can give to your listeners that literally walks them through this process. And one of the things is I talk about in it is like, when's the last time you cleaned out your refrigerator? Right? Like stuff just gets stuck in the back that you forgot about. That like condiment that you got at that one farmer's market that one time is just like hanging out. It's just like hiding right in that back corner.
That you want to save just in case you want to have the pretzels with it, but it's for a special occasion.
Right? Yeah. And that was 2 years ago, and now it's in the back corner of the fridge and it's full of mold and you can't even see it. You don't even know it's there, but it's like taking up space. So we cleaned out our refrigerators often-ish. And like, we're not cleaning out the refrigerators in our business. And there's just a ton of stuff that's like builds up in our businesses that we just do because we've done it before, but it's not actually helping us get to our goals.
That is a great, man, I love that. So, okay. One, I need to watch this. Where should I go to get this free resource about cleaning out the fridge? I love that analogy.
So breesehealy.com/reset. So it's called The Reset. The idea is to help you look at, you know, what's working in your business, what's not working in your business, what needs to stay and do more of, what needs to go and do less of, and then how does that look in your business strategy moving forward.
And I think it's so helpful to have somebody that's an outside set of eyes for your business. For me, I'm in it so much. And I'm in the day-to-day. The best thing that I did for my business this year was hire my ops manager. And, you know, I've talked with a number of people, and some people on my team were a little hesitant about bringing in outside help to come in for this ops role. But bringing her in to be a fresh set of eyes on how we were doing everything, the systems that we had, and start fixing them changed everything. You know, now I'm not in the day-to-day so much. We are launching a membership. We have all these different funnels. I know all these different funnels of upsells and downsells, and that's stuff that I couldn't do on my own before. And I knew it was stuff that like I wanted to do, but I didn't really have the time. So having someone else come in and be that fresh set of eyes, and that person say like, yeah, well, let's go ahead and do this. We're ready to do this, was essential for my business and helped us scale to, one, getting the clients in that we want to. But now that we're at capacity with clients, now we can bring in this other revenue stream where they get more of Katie Brinkley, because I'm not out there having to do all the sales calls. When you're working with people, I think it's great to have like I said, a mastermind where you have a fresh set of eyes of people to look at what it is that you're doing. How do you think that like having a mastermind is different than having a group coaching program?
That one's a little hard for me. My mastermind is a little group coaching program. A lot of people who run them. Like I was invited to join one in 2020, and it was like 10 people, but you only got access to the woman that was running it like 4 times over the course of the year. And I was like, I don't, no offense, but I'm like, if I wanted my colleagues' input, I would just go to my colleagues. I need to pay $30,000 to be in a container to go to my colleagues and not have access to the person that I want access from. So my mastermind is a little more group coachee, just because like there is an absolutely incredibly high level of access to me that I have never seen come with a mastermind that's on the market. So people get 4 private calls with me. They get DM access and online access and all sorts of access to me that most masterminds simply just don't offer.
You know, and I think that's you find yourself a community when you get in these programs, and you find someone that's going to be that, like I said, that other set of eyes that can oversee, this is what's worked here, this is what's working here, doing the paid versus the free, and what is a good cost for that. I think there's so many questions that come along with being an entrepreneur and being a business owner of, how much do I charge for this? Is this something that I should give for free? I thought I was supposed to do free things on YouTube to build out community, but now you're saying I should pay. So having that sounding board, and whether it's with, like you said, like a leader or like you, or just within the rest of the community members, is great. Because like for me, I do 2 podcast episodes a week. That might not be the solution for everybody. And if I come in there and someone says, hey, my podcast isn't getting the downloads, and I say, oh, well, you need to produce more episodes. Well, hold on. What if we have another set of eyes come in here and say, okay, well, let's look at your titles, or have you had this type of guest on before? Have you done a solo episode? Whatever. And having the conversations really allow you to brainstorm new ideas for growth. What do you think for people that maybe are on the fence of launching multiple revenue streams? What do you think is the tipping point for them? Because, you know, when you said you were trying to launch 10 new ones, I was like, oh man, that girl's crazy. And it sounds overwhelming to do this stuff. And it's like, oh, well, I don't have time to do that. What is your advice to someone to help them launch more?
Yeah, I mean, so one thing I'll say, and this kind of goes back to what you were just saying as well, is the thing about having another set of eyes on your business as well versus just getting like generic advice or whatever, is that everyone's business is different. And so like the advice or like the strategy I develop with one client is never the same as the strategy I develop for a different client. So, you know, I think it's really important to remember that launching 10 revenue streams is not for everyone. You know, like a lot of the ones that I'm launching are like micro courses as well. And so they're pretty small and they're going to be really easy for me to get out. And honestly, they're a lot of things that I already talk about that people ask me about anyways. In fact, one of them is about pricing. I'm launching a micro course about pricing because people are always, well, one, the first thing I do with every single client that comes in is make them raise their prices because women never charge enough. And then 2, then everyone's like, well, but I don't know what to charge. And people say charge based on my worth. And you say don't charge based on my worth. So then what? Like, what does that look like? And so there are a lot of questions that I'm already getting. And to be quite honest, I'm launching a new podcast in August. And one of the first episodes is about pricing. And at the end, I say, I have a brand new micro course about pricing. Here's where you go. And if you use the promo code podcast, you get 33% off. There's another episode that I just recorded that like I'm launching Voxer coaching for 30 days. You want me in your pocket for 30 days to just get immediate instantaneous feedback for 30 solid days. Like, here's where it is. And also if you use the code podcast, you get 33% off, right? So a lot of what I'm doing too, it's not just that I'm launching 10 revenue streams. It's in the context of my larger strategy. I'm doing another summit in December. So with the summit, I'm going to have some calls to action. Like, you know, like, so for me, it's about also the bigger picture and how each of these revenue streams fits into all of the other things that I'm doing in my business between now and December.
So if someone's looking to add in 2 more revenue streams and they're a coach, they're a consultant, and right now they're selling their time. They want, you know, they sell their coaching for X amount for an hour a week or whatever it is, and they want to launch that second or third revenue stream. What would be your first bit of advice for them? What's an easy one to just start?
Here's what I would do. One, I would look at what questions are you getting over and over and over and over and over again. Start jotting them down, pay attention, take note, compile the ones that you get the most frequently, and then turn that into like a little 4-week group container where you can teach it live. And the people that are coming live get to ask you questions and you get to like deliver it live. And then you can take that live course and then turn it into a digital program. And then what's cool about that is that with the digital program like mine, you can be like, hey, I'm going to run it. I want to make an extra 10 grand this week. I'm just going to run it for like 33% off for my list and my audience. And then you can, like, I talk about having like levers you can pull. If you need to make more money in your business, you need some levers to pull to allow that to happen. So what I realized again at the beginning of this year was like, I only had one lever to pull. Yeah. And I'm only pulling that lever every 6 months, which means that I don't have new sales coming in between those 2 times when I'm pulling it. If I need to make an extra 10 grand some month, I need levers that I can pull to do that. Okay. So build out 2 courses like that. You get to deliver them live. So you plan your curriculum, but you don't have to pre-record. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Deliver it live, you record it, and then you convert it into a digital product that then it just delivers itself moving forward. So we have 6 months left in the year. Launch 1 in August, launch 1 in November, August and October, and then put them on sale for Cyber Monday at the beginning of December, and 2 revenue streams.
I love it. I love it. And Brie, you make it sound so easy. Man, it's always awesome talking with you because I always get so many ideas of like, oh, I should try this, or oh, I need to do that. You've spoken on TEDx stages. You've been all over New York. You've been on like every single channel and Today Show and news outlet that there is. You are everywhere, and you're just a wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much for coming in and sharing some of these ideas about revenue streams. I know, like I said, we've talked about your mastermind a bunch. You have other revenue streams, but if people are interested in joining your mastermind, one, how is the best way for them to check that out, learn more about it? Where should they go?
Yeah, so I have just a pretty simple application, and really the whole point of it is for me to understand your business more deeply. If I look at it and I'm like, I can't help you, I'm not going to tell you I will. So it's just a way for me to get a little bit of information from you up front to know whether or not we'd be a good fit to work together. So that's at brieseely.com/mastermind. I will be opening a new cohort in the fall, and it's limited to 10 individuals only. So my last 2 have sold out, and right now I love this revenue stream. It's like very exciting for me because I do get to help women make their wildest dreams come true. One of my clients made her first 5-figure sale in the mastermind, and I was like, oh, so what you're saying is you made back 100% of a return on investment with just 1 sale, right? Like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah, not bad.
That is awesome. Yeah, well, we'll be sure to include links to, one, your TEDx speech, links to your websites. If people want to connect with you on social, that'll be in the show notes as well. The name of your podcast, because, if you're listening to this podcast, you should obviously listen to another one. Brie, what's the name of your new show?
Yes, it is launching August 13th, and it is called Big Goal Energy. It's got a new format. I'm very excited about it.
I love it. Yeah. So, I know you and I talked podcasting earlier in the spring, and we talked about the launch of this, and it sounds like it's going to be a really, really awesome show. You have put a lot of thought and strategy into it. It's not just launching on a whim. So it should be a really great show. I'm really excited for you and the launch of this. And thanks again so much for sitting down with me today and sharing your insights with Rocky Mountain Marketing listeners.
Thanks for having me, girl. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.